I ordered a steering wheel cover from AliExpress. A few different options. There's some fake leather ones on there. There's ones that say they're genuine leather. I went for hopefully genuine leather with suede top and bottom and like I think perforated sides. It then said if I wanted what thread color I wanted and also where I wanted one of the center indicators. Don't really need a center indicator. I know when a steering wheel's straight. But I did go for a grey thread and it says grey thread. So let's have a look. See what we get. It's got grey thread, so we can tick that off the list. Some instructions, which is always good. Hopefully, and they're in English, which is a positive. And then let's look at the item. Sometimes I find it quite hard to tell between fake leather and normal leather. Oh, right, so it has got a center indicator, but they've done it in grey, so you know that's fair dues. It's not red or anything like that. So yeah, so I've got perforated. See, is that leather? That doesn't look like leather to me. It's so fabric backed. But you know, if it's nice enough. So those are your perforated bits, and obviously I'm guessing these are little tuck bits to fit it nicely in the behind the steering wheel plastic parts. There's your suede section, so I'm guessing that's the bottom. Got perforated sides, and then a suede top like that with the centerpiece sewn in. So all the sewing and everything looks decent, but we will see once we try and get it on a steering wheel. So it looks like you get a little sewing kit with it. See what's in here. I'm guessing this is like a trim plucker or tucker or whatever you want it to be. And they've then given you some more grey thread, which I'm guessing is going to be for doing all this thread work where you have to tie it all in. Big couple of needles. I'm guessing this is double-sided tape. Looks like there's something about doing double-sided tape up here. Oh, it looks. Oh, I was wondering if it was going to move at all, because even though it's going to be trapped under the little plastic bits at the bottom of the steering wheel and side of the steering wheel, I did wonder whether you'd feel well, that's a bit rude. If you'd feel the leather moving on top of the old steering wheel. It does look like you use sticky pads. Cool. Okay. Looks like a fun afternoon's work. So first thing you want to do is disconnect your battery, because you're going to be playing around with the airbag and you definitely don't want that going off. Mine was a 10mm spanner. Take positive off, then take the negative off, and then move on to the next job. So the next thing you need to do, well, I don't think you actually need to remove the steering wheel. You can, it says in the instructions, you can leave it on and you can tuck under all these pieces. I'm going to take it off, or try and take it off, because I just think it'd be easier to do it indoors. I've watched another video. There's videos out there about taking the steering wheel off, but basically there's two rubber grommets, one on either side of the steering column, 10mm bolts in either of them. So take those out. That will release this center section with the airbag and everything. So you take that off, and then it's a 21mm spanner in the middle. So I've taken both screws out, took the grommets out, so just little rubber grommets on either side, and then it was two 10mm bolts, and then this center section comes out, and you have two plugs. This is where you want to make sure that you turn the battery off, because you don't want that airbag going off. but don't. Just disconnect those plugs, and then you can take this away from the steering wheel. So this white plug's easy enough to get out. You just push down on the tab and it pops out. And then this one, if you don't know how to do it, you get a small screwdriver and you get it underneath the, can you see there? Can I zoom in? There's a little indentation. Just get a little screwdriver in there. Flick this up so this metal piece comes up. So it's up. In theory, well, it's come all the way out now. And then, like I said, you've got a, I've been told, 21mm. Yeah, 21mm. This may take some effort, so I'm going to pause again. Yeah, that was a 21. So I've taken it, I've loosened it all off. I saw in another video, not claiming this to be my own ideas, another video to take it off a little bit. Don't take it off all the way. And you can either get a puller on here, or they just jiggled it and wiggled the steering wheel and then pulled it. And obviously, if you're pulling really hard, you don't want the steering wheel to come off and smack you in the face, so you leave that nut on there to catch it. So that's what I'm going to do next. All it took was a couple of wiggles and a strong pull, and that has now come loose. What I'm just going to do is I want to mark the spline. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a marker and I'm going to mark where the steering wheel sat with relation to the splines of the steering column, so I know exactly where to put it back on. So I think you can see that I've marked above the steering wheel, this mark here, and I've marked here, and they line up, and you can tell when you position it one tooth out either way, it doesn't line up. So it's just a good way to make sure that you're putting it back on in the right place. So I've got the steering wheel off. I'm now going to attempt to get these parts off. It looks like the back panel comes off, or at least is held on by these two screws here. I don't know where else. I'll let you know. So I've taken those two screws out there, and then what they've got down here, if you can see, I've already started to take them off. On either side is a plastic clip. So push those plastic clips to one side. And sorry about the camera work here. And back part should, in theory, come off. It's very close to being off, so I'll say it's off. So just to go over that again, there was two screws at the top holding it on. There was then these clips at the side here. I bent them away, and then these clips, these ones here, had some electrical cables coming in, and you just have to pull the electrical cable through, and then this part just comes off. And we flip the steering wheel over, and it looks like it's fairly easy to get these bits off. Two screws that side, two screws that side, and a single screw down here. So I'll unscrew all of those and take these pieces off so it's easier to get to everything. So the only bit I was unsure of, these side ones just came off with two screws each side, and they just come off. This bottom one only had one screw, so I unscrewed that, and then it didn't seem to want to come out. So what I did is I got the little lever, and I just gently pried at the end, and it's just stuck into this, just with a couple of little plastic tabs that you just pull straight outwards. So yeah, simple in the end. So there you go. There's your basic steering wheel, ready to get your new cover on. So the next part, so I've got my cover. I've cleaned my steering wheel, so that's all done. So it does ask you to do that because you're going to stick things to it. So now it looks like you only don't get thick stuff like that. You seem to. Oh, okay, it's not badly sized. You need to put it all over it. It says don't put it too close to the edge. So I guess those are the bits maybe you tuck. But so yeah, like this one, just have to keep putting loads of double-sided tape around it. So that's what I'm going to do now. So I've taken my time and put all the double-sided tape around everywhere, keeping it in from the edge like they said. What you'll notice on bits like this, you probably can't see it, but round the edge they haven't put the double thickness of product there, so it's actually thinner around the edge, and that's the bit you're going to tuck in behind the plastic on the steering wheel. So that's quite a good idea. This isn't leather though. This is definitely there's no smell to it or anything. This is definitely vegan, as they say now. or just faux leather. So moving on to the back next bit. So I'm going to have to, so you basically place it on the steering wheel, get it over the steering wheel, place it on the steering wheel, get it in the right direction, and then you do the 3-9, you know, all the top corners. You make sure that these bits, they're stuck down first, and then you start doing bit by bit in each segment. And once you've done that, you go on to the tucking process, or in this case we don't have any tucking because we took the bits off, so that's good. So we literally just put it on, and then there's going to be a stitching stage. What's going to be really good fun is trying to peel off every single one of these double-sided tapes. That's going to be great fun. So I've pulled it all on. What I actually did is I tucked this bit in and kept it down with the bottom bit just so it held one position, and then pulled the rest of it onto the steering wheel. So what you're going to want to make sure is it's going to be making sure that this is actually at the top, because that'd be really annoying to drive if this was off center. And then it's taking all the sticky off and working at the bits bit by bit as per the instructions. So it says to start at 6 o'clock. So when this was off, I centered it up so these tabs lined up and the bit went over here. Took the sticky off, stuck that down, and then I've stuck the bottom bit down, so that bit's actually now in. Looks nice so far. A little way to go yet, but that's looking good. So I've now taken off all the double-sided tape covers, which is a nightmare and takes ages. Just loads of it everywhere. So I've done the bottom, so I've stuck that in and just pushed that on for now to hold it nicely there. And then it tells you to do the 3 and 9 o'clocks, so by these sections here, and then you do the top section. So I'm going to crack on with that. So a quick update, it's not easy. You meant to do, so I did the bottom, and then I've been doing these bits, which are really quite hard to do. One side didn't seem to have that much material, and then the other side seemed to have loads, so a little bit annoying. Keep on trucking. I've put these bits back in just to try and hold these in position so I can pull and stretch other bits. Hopefully that works out. Right, so the sewing bit, I've got my trusty assistant Rebecca here. It's quite hard to read the instructions because they've literally put it into Google Translate and gone with that, I think. So we're using a double thread, so there's actually 2 threads here. We saw on a Google video that this section was 1.50 meters, and then you thread it and pull it over so it's double, and then knot the end. So basically you first start by coming through on the inside of the inner leather, so you pull through like that, and then you go straight over, and then yes, you pull through with that. You've got your 2 threads with your needle, and then you go straight over into 1 down on the other side, pull it across, and then you're going under the next stitch on this side, and then it says every 3 going forward from there. So now we're going to do every 3, every 3, every 3, like that. Okay. So I just said we were going to do every 3. We tried every 3 and it looked like it was too wide. So now we're going to do every second one, every 2. So it's not going too badly. Sometimes it's quite hard to pull in. You can pull the bits around, but it's so every other. So nip it under there. Pulls it tight. And there's the next one. You can see, and you just keep going like that, and it turns out pretty good. So after a little while, you do need some patience to sew it all together. It's come together pretty well. There's always going to be little bits that are a struggle. The bits behind here, these curves, which annoyingly is where your thumb is going to feel most of the time, were quite tricky. Put some extra sticky in there to make it sit in the dip there. But generally, it's gone pretty well. It's not bad. Wonder how long it will last, but no, I think it's a nice little touch for a worn steering wheel. So steering wheel's back on. Obviously refitting is just a reversal of the removal. It's pretty good. What I quite like though is I chose the grey stitching. You can't really see it that well, but I also have grey stitching on my leather as well, so that goes together nicely. Don't know how long the suede's going to hold up, but we'll see. The only little annoying thing is a little bits of leather kind of just catches there where my hands go, but it's pretty good. So yeah, job done. If you could like and subscribe, that'd be great.